I'll admit, I've spent way more than I think any 1 year of my college tuition was on Google ads and meta ads trying to figure it out. Because one of the things I'm just gonna tell everyone, if you ever go externally to hire someone to manage your Google ads, your Facebook ads, your social media ads, unless you're spending at least $5,000 a month in ad spend, you're probably not getting very good help. It's just the fact, it's just how it works, right? Because if you're only spending $1,000, see you later, Tracy. I'll save this, Tracy, so we can use it later. So cool. So if you're only spending $1,000 a month, the way that most ad managers get paid is they get paid what's called a percentage of whatever your ad spend is, right? And so if you're spending $2,000 a month, if they take 50%, the ROI of your ad spend is going to be terrible, right? Because you're spending $3,000 for what should be $2,000 of value. So what they typically do is they'll take like 5-10% of whatever your ad spend is. If you're only paying someone $200 a month to run all this stuff, which is extremely technical knowledge and it requires a lot of calibration, do you think you're going to get a lot of very good service? Nope. So one of the things that I think we need to know as real estate agents is how to set up Google ads, how to set up meta ads. And that's something we're going to go cover for Blue Pebble people as part of our Everything They Didn't Teach You in Real Estate School that we're launching next week. Okay. So awesome. Yeah. Love that. Thank you. We're making an announcement in like 2 hours. So I think I can talk about it now. So, all right, cool. So that's going to be one of the modules. It's not going to be the first one, but we will cover social media ads and Facebook ads. What's up, Shannon? Oh, just excited about the school. All right, great. We love it. All right, sweet. So this is not ChatGPT. Okay. What I'm going to do here is really just show you how to set up a very, 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 very basic Google advertising campaign. Now, if you want to optimize this, Adam will shake his or nod his head when I say this. There is a very, 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 very deep rabbit hole that you can go down. Like you can set up Google ad conversions, you can set up retargeting, you can get crazy with like clicks and targets and optimizations and conversion events and different landing. Like you could do whatever you want with Google ads. And like I said, unless you're spending $5,000 or $10,000 a month on social media advertising, you're not getting it. Okay. So for right now, we're just going to create a very simple ad that you guys could start running today. You could get some very simple data, and even spending $5 or $10 a day will get you data that you could then still use to optimize your funnel and optimize your lead capture. Okay. So with that, let's go into Google Ads. I actually have my ad account ready to go. And so I'm going to share my ad account. I mentioned we're running some tests on our property management campaign. This is it right here. So just to show you some of the examples, we've generated a couple leads. So right now what I'm working on is optimizing conversion with our lead magnet. Something isn't registering with the downloads and our value stacks. So Vince and I are working through how to do that right now. But you can see that we get some really good rates. So we're averaging right now about a 10% click-through rate, which is pretty cool. You don't want this down at 1 or 2%. You also don't want it at 30 or 40. So having like a 10 to 15% click-through rate is really good. I'll go through how to do keywords. I'll go how to set all the stuff up. And then really what you can do is after a week or two, if you spend $50, run an ad for a week, see if you get any conversions. If you don't, let's start figuring out where you need to calibrate your model. Okay. So how to create a Google ad. If you want, log into Google Ads. You can run along with me if you want. So go into Google Ads, ads.google.com. If you have a G Suite account, you can just link it. You can go right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to click this little plus button that says create. Okay. So we're going to create our ad. Create campaign. And we'll go through kind of what all these other things mean. I am not a Google expert. Like I said, I've spent a lot of money to become a Google expert by trial and error. So if you disagree with anything and you're watching this video, send me a note. I'm happy to chat about it. And I'm just showing you what I've already done and learned, and hopefully can save you guys a few tens of thousands of dollars on your way of figuring this stuff out. So, all right. So the question is, Jared, I know you said quality or quantity over quality with our signups, but the question should be, do we want to how do we want to basically set up this ad in terms of the objective? Now, the two main things that you're going to do with the objective are you're going to look at either for leads or you're going to look for website traffic. In this case, unlike signing up on your squeeze page, in this case, quality is better than quantity because we do not want people that Google knows is not in the buying window to be clicking on our ads, right? If you click website traffic, you're going to get more unqualified traffic and less actionable traffic than if you click on leads. Okay. If you click on leads, the algorithm for Google knows the people that are signing up whenever they click on an ad. And so this will put your ad out in front of those people that already have kind of in the Google algorithm a tendency to sign up for stuff. Right. So now it's your ICP who also tends to sign up for some stuff versus the average Joe. That sounds like the person that I want to be marketing to. Right? Cool. This is where we go down to conversion goals. You will need to set this up at some point if you're ever going to optimize your ads. That's a whole nother class. We can talk about that later. I have a couple different goals set up in my account. One of the main ones that you're probably going to be looking at is either page views or lead forms, right? So what you can do is basically set up a conversion with Google where you put a conversion tag on your thank you page. You link that conversion tag back to your Google Ads account. So whenever someone goes to your thank you page, it registers as a conversion. And that tells Google that was a really good lead. Okay. If you don't set up your conversion tracking, you might not get Google optimizing your ads as well as they can be optimized. So once you get past that initial point of getting your initial leads, figuring out your initial copy, getting your lead magnets all put together, one of the things you are going to want to look at is setting up your Google conversion stuff. So that way Google knows how to optimize your ads and who to send them to. Was that fair, Adam? Is that an okay comment?
Yes, it is. Completely fair.
Excellent. Cool.
Excellent.
So once you go down here, there are all sorts of different campaign types that you can choose. Personally, I'm a control freak, if anyone doesn't know me that well. And so thanks for not laughing, guys. And so I personally don't like performance max campaigns because I feel like I lose control over where my ads are going and it's harder for me to get data. The performance max is kind of like set it and forget it. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to deal with this. Just put my ads out there and see what happens, right? For us, though, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a search ad, which is the traditional Google ad, keywords, locations, like that whole thing. And so here you're going to click search versus anything else. The other options that you have are also more for like video and YouTube and display. You can run all these things from Google. Really, your basic search ad is where Google makes their money and where people drive traffic from these landing pages. Okay. If you do have video content, Nate, in your YouTube, Shannon, if you put out a video and you really like it, you could upload the video and be putting that on YouTube. You can be putting it on display. Like you can do other stuff with the video. It's just that right now we're going to set up a search ad because we have video ideas, but we don't know how we're going to convert off those videos yet. Okay, cool. And so select the ways that people are going to reach your goal. They're going to reach my goal by lead form submissions. Actually, well, no, we're not going to do that. We're doing website visits. My bad. If you do a lead form submission, it's going to ask you to submit a form on Google. We don't want them submitting forms on Google. We want them submitting forms on our website, right? So once you get your landing page published, make sure you have your website put in. And for right now, I'm just going to put in our domain. And so here's our website. Oh, my typing is getting back to me now. Okay, typing. Cool. All right, let's continue. Let's call it the Susan, we'll call it right sizing example ad. You can name it whatever you want. Campaign name, whatever you're going to remember the ad, that's the best way to do it. Okay. And we'll just continue. Oh, we're going to start a new campaign. I was trying to prep myself before this meeting, so that was the one that I was working on before I jumped on here. But yeah, we're going to be doing the Susan right sizing campaign. So now this is honestly where everyone gets really freaked out. The first part, a lot of people get to that point like, okay, I can handle all that, right? Here is the stuff that looks really, really scary. And I promise you, it is not. This is not scary at all. This is very, very, very simple. You just have to know what this stuff means. Okay. So at the top, it's going to ask about bidding. So what's bidding? Bidding is basically Google. So the way Google search campaigns work, right? You know, when you're searching on an ad or you go on Google and you search like a plumber in Denver, right? The first 3 or 4 things you see are going to be ads. Oh, call this plumber, 24/7 help, blah, 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 right? And then you get down to the Yelp and the Angie's List and all the other stuff after the ads, right? The reason why you're seeing those ads is because there are people that have basically subscribed to Google Ads. And if you typed Denver plumber, they have Denver plumber as one of their keywords on their ad. And so the way Google selects who they show your ad to is based on how much value implicitly your campaign is giving to that impression. So that's why there are keywords that are going to be more expensive than other keywords, right? So like, let's say this is a right sizing ad. So we're talking about listing homes. If my keyword was sell my house now, arguably more people are going to want to advertise with that keyword than sell my house in 5 years. Right? So the value that I would have to bid if I get that click would be higher for the sell my house now versus sell my house in 5 years. And I only pay that bid if I get the click. It's important to understand the difference then between how Google operates and how Facebook operates. Okay. Facebook and Instagram, you pay per impression. So they don't really care about, I mean, they're going to try and optimize your ads because they want you to generate business because they want you to keep spending money, right? But at the end of the day, your ad spend controls how many people see your ads. Google, your ad spend is about how much is this impression worth to you. Okay. And it's a dynamic number. It changes. So in my opinion, this is why Google is maybe arguably better, because Google only gets paid when people click on your ads. So therefore, they're incentivized to get people to click on your ads. Facebook gets paid just by you putting the ad out there. So if I'm going to be marketing with someone as a partner, would I rather my partner get paid when I have a chance of getting paid, or I rather they get paid just for doing my stuff for me? Right? So this is part of the reason why we've gone away from Meta and more toward Google for our own lead funnels. All right, cool. So what is a conversion? So in this case, conversions are going to be whatever you set up on the previous page with that conversion mapping. We haven't done that yet. So we're just going to choose clicks, right? We want to be bidding on clicks. Okay, cool. No target conversion costs. Like, no, that's all optimization stuff I told you don't have to worry about right now. One thing that is nice about Google is, like, let's say you have a very limited ad budget. So like, let's say you're only going to do $5 a day in ads. Maybe you don't want to spend all $5 on one click, which is totally possible in some spaces, right? What you can do is you can set up a maximum cost per click. And so you can say, look, I'm only willing to spend $1 per click. So if you're telling me that it's going to cost me more than $1 to put my ad online, I'm not going to put my ad online. If it's going to cost me 85 cents, you can put my ad up there, and then I'll only pay 85 cents when someone clicks. If you set your cost per click too low, there is a shot that you don't get your ads shown as much as you want them shown because other people are bidding more than you, right? So one of the things to notice whenever you're putting in a maximum cost per click, if you're not spending your full ad budgets, there's a good shot that your cost per click budgets are too low or your language in your ad stinks. It's one of the two things. Okay. But for right now, just all intents and purposes, we're going to set up a click limit of $1. I try not to do all these applications and optimizations until we're through the whole thing, and then we can worry about optimizing the ad later. Then it's also going to ask you, do you want to bid for new customers only? basically people that have not already been to your website or people that have not already clicked on your stuff. That's totally up to you. I think it depends. I mean, for me, I only probably want to bid on new customers in this one. Like, if someone came to my landing page and now they're coming back, the offer isn't, well, I guess we need to add a new audience. It probably just know who my customers are. So we're going to unclick that. So now we're going to bid for everybody. But if you always want to bid for new customers, you got to tell it who not to bid for, basically. Okay. So let's go to next. For here, I always stick with Google Search Partners Network. This is fine. Google Display, I think, is better for like video. So since we've done a video, this is a search ad. I wouldn't do a Google Display ad. This is just going to be a search ad, so I don't do this. Do we want to be advertising all over? Probably not. I mean, I can't do listings in Hawaii. I would love to get referrals in Hawaii, but I can't list property in Hawaii. So we probably want to focus on Colorado, right? So what you can do is you can click location options. So one of the things that you want to pay attention to, and I think I said this in the workbook. So if you go down, I always recommend using the presence-based targeting and not the interest-based targeting, right? So I just think there's a lot of noise, especially in Colorado, because it's so transient. Like, it's a lot of vacation stuff. It's a lot of travel for seasonal stuff. It's not always like interest in Colorado real estate because you're searching for Colorado, right? Maybe that's different if you live in, I don't know, North Dakota. Do people go to North Dakota to do like, sorry if you're in North Dakota watching this, but I imagine there's probably more transient traffic in Colorado than North Dakota, right? Actually, that's not true. There's like oil stuff in North Dakota. Maybe not. I have no idea. Either way, though, this is the whole point. I don't want to have to worry about who's seeing my ads and whether they're only there for like a certain thing. I want people living in Colorado, because if they don't live in Colorado, the odds of them having a house to sell in Colorado drops down dramatically, right? So here, I'm just going to click presence. Now, this depends on who you're advertising to. Adam dropped off, but Adam is a business development guy, right? So if Adam is willing to do work all over the country, why would you limit it to Colorado? Do it all over the country. Do it all over the world. Like, what are you advertising? Depends on whatever you want to do, right? Only use languages that you would be able to respond in, by the way. So if you click Spanish and you don't speak Spanish, that might be a problem for you. Additionally, you're going to have to make sure if you do multiple languages on your ads that you have the right follow-up campaigns going out. Because if someone clicks on a Spanish ad, but you're sending an English email, that's a little messed up, right? So I would always just say, pick one language, pick your primary language, go with that. Okay, audience segments. Let's go down. We're not going to add any segments here. You don't have to. Segments are like, basically Google has in the algorithm already bucketed people into certain types of things, right? So like people who are interested in residential properties, homes for sale, other kinds of stuff. In this case, we're not going to use any segments, right? But if you, let's say, are advertising and you only want to make sure that you're working with like relocation people, you could click moving and relocation. And in theory, Google will do a better job of optimizing your ads for people in a relocation process and other, just like a normal Joe on the Google platform. For right now, though, we're going to skip the audience segments. And now we're going to get into ChatGPT, because this is a ChatGPT class. And so let's get some ads created. Okay. So you can automatically create stuff. If you have the landing page already developed, you can already do that. I would recommend use the assets I provide. So we're going to show you how to do that right now. And this is where you get to do the work with ChatGPT to help you optimize your ads. Okay. So here's one thing we can do. So what makes your products or services unique? So one thing you could do is you're going to say, go back to your sheet right here. Go back to your workbook. Okay. So we're going to do a prompt just to make sure we're recalibrated. Okay. So copy this, the first line. And now we're just going to recalibrate our AI just in case. You don't really, in theory, need to do this, but I'm just doing it to make sure that we're fully on the same page. Okay. So we're going to have our ICP. We're going to reiterate what our ICP is. We're going to put that into our prompt. What our workbook say as well. Our funnel brief. So let's go back up here. Oh, sorry, we're going back to our workbook. My bad. Go back to your workbook. Oh, we did not paste that. Why did I do that? Sorry, one sec. I screwed myself up here. I knew this was going to happen at some point. Okay. Let's get our squeeze info in there right away. We can do that, and then we'll figure out a funnel brief in a second. So copy the squeeze info. So actually, we're going to do funnel brief last. And then the funnel brief. Am I screwing something up here? Maybe this is what we started. Oh, here's the funnel brief. My bad. We're taking our squeeze page layout. I'm going to change that in the guide. So take your squeeze page layout. It's not going to be a funnel brief. And then we're going to hit enter. So we're just telling it, use all this information when we're coming up with our Google ads, basically. And let me fix that in the, I will fix that in the workbook version. So when you guys go back later, I will have that fixed for you. All right, so let's see what ChatGPT said. I apologize, we're going to go a little bit over, but I'll get this wrapped up as quickly as possible. And now we're waiting for ChatGPT to come back. At some point. We're almost there, ChatGPT. Come on. Okay. So now it's going off and doing some stuff. Let's not worry about that. We just wanted to use that information. So what you can say here is, using the information I just sent you, if my computer comes back. Stop. I don't want this. Whoop. Yeah, stop that. Okay. Using the info I just sent you, please write an introductory paragraph about what makes me and my business unique for Google Ads campaign. Cool. Yes, I would, ChatGPT, but not yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. We're going to take our paragraph. We're going to put it in here. And now that you have a little bit of stuff for ChatGPT. Now, what you could do is use this and generate your own stuff from ChatGPT. This will give you some basic stuff, basic headlines from its own AI. I'm not really a fan of doing this. So I'm just showing you what you could do if you want to skip the next step. Okay. I like to skip this though. And so what we're going to do instead is use ChatGPT to generate our keywords and assets and ads and stuff like that. So here, let's now use ChatGPT to generate this, and you can go back to your workbook. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to call this funnel layout, by the way. Okay. So generate keywords. Based on my ICP and funnel info, generate 10 main keywords and 10 long tail. So the difference between keywords are basically like some keywords are like really out there, like I don't know. They just like they're not going to hit every day. It's not like they get like sell my home Denver, which is like an everyday kind of thing. Some of them are going to be like sell my Arvada rental property tomorrow. I don't know, right? But like it's not going to be everything that everyone searches all day. So what you want to do is you want to have 10 that can pick up like your general traffic and 10 where you might catch a flyer. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to tell it, based on my ICP and funnel info, create 10 main and long tail keywords using match type syntax. So what are the differences in syntaxes? That's a good question. So keywords can be displayed in basically a few different ways. If you use broad keywords, if you put sell my Denver house as your keyword or group of keywords, sell my Denver house is one keyword. Anything sell Denver house is going to pop up. You have no idea, what they're selling for. Phrase match means that they would have to put in their Google search something like sell my Denver house, right? So in my opinion, a phrase match for a landing page is definitely better than a broad match. Broad matches, you tend not to get the right types of customers coming on your landing page. If you use an exact match, that means that they have to search for those keywords, not any combination of them, not any change in iteration. Those are the keywords you're going to sell. I personally like using match keywords the best to start, because then you can see what actual keywords and searches are generating your traffic. Once you know what's working, then you can start to experiment with other keywords, other types, other iterations of things. But until you have the exact matches, I would probably not go on to broad or phase match. Okay. So let's see what ChatGPT spit out for us. Cool. So we got 10 main keywords and we got 10 long tail keywords. Okay. We only want these though in exact match format. So please re-output in exact match format only. And this is how you know, right? Like if you see quotes, kind of like what you used to do, like those old Yahoo and Alta Vista searches for those of us who were searching the internet in 2000, right? If you did something in quotes, you got better luck of actually getting the thing that you wanted, versus if you did it in like a phrase. That still works in Google, by the way. And so, we're going to quotes. Oh, I guess it's not quotes. Exact match are going to be brackets. Phrase match will be quotes. Broad match will be nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy these words, move them into our keyword page. We're going to replace Google's keywords because like they're just putting these keywords out based on what they know about our business. And why is my computer frozen? I love my internet. Okay, here we go. So paste your keywords. Those are going to be your exact match main keywords. And then we're going to copy our long tail keywords. Now, long tail exact matches, you might run into an issue where that you don't get enough searches for these, and Google will tell you that. So if you go live with your campaign and maybe there's only like one search a day, it will tell you there aren't enough searches for this ad. You got to pick something else. But you don't know that until you put your ad live. So you just got to kind of monitor that whenever you go. Okay. So now we have our keywords. We got 20 keywords for our ad. Let's scroll down. Now we got to add in some headlines. So you get like you get 15 headlines if you want to use them. I think testing 15 headlines at once is really tough, especially if you're only on like a $5 or $10 a day budget, you know? So for us, what we're going to do is we're just going to ask for, I think 2 to 3, right? But we're going to ask you for 5, and then we're going to pick up the 2 or 3 that we think resonate the best with our ICP. So let's copy and paste this prompt based on my ICP and funnel info. Now let's go over here.
Jared?
Yep.
So on these, even though I put all of this stuff down, it knows that I'm pretty hyper local. All of my headlines and most of my keywords are very generic. They're not location based. Should I be changing that?
I think you can play around with that. So like, maybe you want to keep some generic, maybe some you want to keep in Denver. This is also where you can also play around with your headlines and other kinds of things. So maybe like your keywords are general, because like maybe they don't search for think about, I'm just going back to photography, but like maybe they're not searching for Denver real estate photographer. Maybe they're just searching for real estate photography and they're forgetting the Denver. Right. Cool. So keywords, I think, are okay to be a little more general because it helps you pick up traffic. You want to make sure that your headlines and your assets that show up on the ad are probably a little bit more targeted and speak to the ICP that you want to be doing business with. Got it. So here are 5 things, right? And we're just going to go with 3 of them. So I'm going to say peace of mind. I'm going to do too many stairs, too much. And we help seniors move smart. So I'm just going to change this here. No listings available. That's a great ad to run as a real estate agency. Let me delete that. One sec. So you just copy and paste. Please. My computer made it an hour and a half, and I think it's too tired. Give me one second. All right, then too many stairs, too much. I kind of like that. It's a little funny, a little edgy, a little bit of humor is okay. Come on, Google. What's going on here? Sorry, everyone, I'm on a bit of a delay. Okay, finally got it. So you're going to go through and paste all yours here. I'm running into issues because I'm running Google Meets. At the same time, I'm running Google Ads. Google Meets is a pretty high load on my computer. So I'm running into issues. But what you're going to do is basically copy and paste all your headlines here and make sure that whatever else you have are not the headline. Take out anything that Google suggested that you don't like, right? Just because Google suggested it, it doesn't mean that you should use it. In my opinion, their AI for this is not as good as like our tailored train AI that we've been going through and putting the stuff together. So I would just say, use your stuff. I'm just going to copy and paste a couple, and then you go through and you add your headlines, and you should be good. I apologize that my computer is now slow, but this is what you would do. So you'd have your top 2 or 3 headlines, you would delete everything else, and then you would go down to your descriptions, right? And so, Nate, I think these descriptions are really where you can have a little bit more flexibility around kind of locality and location stuff, So let's go back to our workbook really quick, and let's pull up the descriptions. Wow, computer. Come on, baby. There we go. Compassion help for seniors ready to move without pressure or judgment. So Nate, I think if you wanted to, like, let's say yours were pretty general and you want to get more Denver here, I think you could say, well, what if I wanted a couple of options specifically speaking to Denver clients, right? How would I rework this right now? And that could definitely be a prompt that you throw into ChatGPT, and it'll take care of it for you. And so what you would then do is you go through, I'm not going to do it because my computer is freaking out on me right now, but you go into your descriptions, you take 3 or 4 of them, and you can throw them in there too, right? In terms of images, I think images make sense if they make sense for your customer. So like, don't just throw like a random house picture on your ad. I don't know that that's like the way you should go, but Nate, maybe you had, if you're going back to photography, if you had a photography ad you were running, maybe you show examples of photography or collages of images that you could put together or something, like you can make it a little crazy, but like, I just don't think generic stuff helps very much. You probably don't want to be too generic there.
Yeah. And I've done this before, but I'm learning a lot more things that I didn't know. And what I've noticed, especially if you're doing hyper local, say Shannon in Littleton, right? And you have a photo of downtown Littleton, and anybody who's been there knows what it looks like. And you have that photo up there. It's extremely clickable, especially if your ad is Littleton based, right?
For sure. And then just make sure in your locations that's a Littleton ad, right? And in Google, by the way, if you wanted to do like a Littleton graphic for Littleton people, you would create one ad, what's called an ad group. So you're at like a Littleton ad group where those ads are only shown in Littleton. And then you could take another ad group for Denver, and then you show the Union Station picture that everyone wants in downtown Denver, right? And then show those to Denver people, right? So you can use, once you create your first ad group with this kind of language, assuming the ICP is transferable from like Denver to Littleton to Springs, whatever, you can basically copy and paste these campaigns, change a couple of the assets and locations around, and send out the same language with like different pictures and different locations depending on who you're trying to target, right? It's pretty cool. Business name, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just make sure your ad looks good. You do need to make sure that your business name matches the URL. So if you are going to put in a different business name than what it shows, just make sure that it matches your URL. Otherwise, you're going to fail some checks there. I would always recommend throwing in your logo. If you don't have a logo and you're at BPH, let me know. We can get you one. Or Gemar can put one together for you in the store. It's part of our graphic design stuff. So lots of options there for logos. Site links, I think, are pretty cool. So site links are like the little things, like links that show up underneath the ad. And I think this is where you would create site links to your little, the different things in your value stack, right? So if, let's say you're offering a checklist and a consult and a video webinar and whatever, each of those things in your value stack could be a site link. Click here for a checklist, click here for a consultation, click here for whatever, right? And then those site links can take you back to whatever page you want in your land. They could all go back to the same landing page. Really what you care about is what are they clicking on? What's generating the traffic, right? And the site links help you highlight, in my opinion, your value stack. So those are all pretty cool too. And did I leave out the site? Oh, here we go. Extra page. So scroll down another page. So we could do, based on ICP and funnel info, write 4 site links. My preference would be to tie up these site links with your value stack. If your value stack is weak, you can ask ChatGPT just to do it more generally. So let's see what ChatGPT says. Also, make sure you have like the character parameters. Like you can't put in a whole essay in ChatGPT, you know. And then here, you know, we're going to come up with a budget really quick, because once you get your site list done, free real estate consult, right? Free home valuation, trusted organizer intro. Like these are things that you could talk about. I probably want to spruce these up a little bit, but you kind of get the general gist of how you would create a site link and what you would do to help people kind of drive traffic to these individual things. Okay. And then once you're done with that, you go back to your Google ad campaign, you punch in your site links, you put them in, really easy. And at this point, you're pretty much done. I know there's a lot, but like kind of methodical. If there's a process, it's not too bad, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to click next, and then it's going to ask you for a budget. Cool. So it has a recommended budget. You can set a custom budget. Sometimes the recommended budgets are like $100 a day. I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I can't do that while I'm just testing this stuff out, but that's pretty cool if people are spending that much on it. So typically what I'm going to do is set my custom budget. There are 2 ways to do this. If you only have $5 to spend a day to test this stuff out, set it at $5 a day. That's the easiest way to do it. If you're really trying to figure out a statistical way of getting data, I gave you guys in your workbook a little calculator that you can send to ChatGPT. So if I'm talking about, let's say, Susan as a seller buy, right? So if they sell their house, they buy their house, it's probably a $30,000 deal for me, right? So a client is probably worth, let's say, $30,000, but the odds of someone signing off this or any success, let's say, is like 1 in 5. So let's just say a client is worth like $1,500 of expected value, right? If I get someone to click on this ad, I'm expecting $1,500 of revenue from this person, right? Hypothetically, you're going to know this when you run your stuff, right? Or sorry, it already did the math for me. I skipped ahead. Client is worth $30,000. My lead to call to close. So like, let's say I get 100 leads, but I set up 10 calls and I get 1 deal. Let's say I only convert 2% of my leads that sign up. And let's say that I'm running a cost per lead right now of, let's say, $20. I don't know, right? Let's see what ChatGPT says I should be spending. So you can copy that, go into ChatGPT. By the way, 1 to 2% is kind of market for this stuff. So if you ever don't know what a number is, 1 to 2% for your kind of lead to close ratio is kind of what you would expect. About 100 leads will get you 1 closing. If you're really good, it'll get you 3. But that's also why you're creating better value stacks and better funnel pages, because like we want to up that number dramatically, right? And ChatGPT is hanging on me now again. And that's what you would do whenever it comes back. But yeah, you set in your budget. Oh, here we go. Let's see the math. So it's coming out to about $3 a day. Huh. I think that's a coincidence. I wouldn't say it always works out that way. But you know, you can also change it. So like, let's say you wanted to get data over the course of a week, not just 30 days. Then you just change your prompt. Say, I want to do this over 7 days, not 30. What should I do? Right. But you can just start it with a $3 a day budget, and then you click next, and then you go live. Right. So really what we've done here, guys, over the last, say, 2.5, 3 hours of this work is you went from not having any marketing material whatsoever. And I would argue that if you went through these 2 workbooks again and you gave yourself an hour of dedicated time, you could go from not having any marketing plan whatsoever to a fully developed ideal customer profile, a fully developed landing page in terms of content, what you need to create, an offer stack so you know what you need to put together to sell to your clients, and then also get a landing page ad going, right? The one thing you're going to need to do is you actually need to create the landing page, okay? There are a couple different ways to do that. I'm going to end with this, but Go High Level is really great. Go High Level actually has funnel capability within Go High. So if you ever want to create a landing page funnel campaign, you can do it very easily within Go High Level. Russell Brunson's company is called ClickFunnels. He's literally a gazillionaire off of doing this stuff. So if you're not using Go High, I would tell you go to ClickFunnels. That's probably another good way for you to do it. And if you say, hey, Jared, all that sounds great, I don't want to build a website, I say, fine. Vince and Jem can do this for you too as part of your store credits. So I would say probably for about $100 a store credit, we can get you a landing page. If you go through this process and send Vince this, he will create a landing page for you. He's done it for me about 6 times already across a varying number of ICPs. He'll get really close on the first try. You're going to need to check it out once or twice. And then after that, you'll be good to go. Right. So free ChatGPT, free prompts, heavily discounted landing pages. You could run ads, get your landing page, get all the stuff up and running. I would argue for less than $200, and you would have a 1-month test in terms of how you would do.
It's not bad for $90.
Not bad for $90, right? So pleasure, guys. Pleasure.
Well, one last question, Jared, if I may.
Yeah.
So inside Go High, I haven't used any of these features. How easy is it to link with an existing WordPress website?
Ooh. I don't know.
Okay, I'll figure it out. We'll ask ChatGPT.
It might be easier to link your WordPress page back to Go High. Like Go High, you can create a landing page that will have a web address. It might be easier for you to embed that web address within your existing WordPress than it would be to go the other way around.
Okay.
But either way, though, you can at least get the HTML and the page construction from Go High and figure out what to do from there. So cool, guys. Well, I apologize for going over, but I guess I mistimed this one. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope this was helpful for you as well. I'm going to get this up online on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And also, we're going to be starting a new weekly follow-up with everyone. I'm going to be posting weekly AI tips on YouTube and also sending them out to the brokerage and my personal database. And so keep an eye out for those. You guys are all automatically on the distribution. You don't need to subscribe. So keep your eye out for those types of weekly stuff. And if you're watching this video on YouTube later and you want to get on that follow-up trip for weekly tips, let me know as well. So thank you, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to take you through this. Let me know if you have any questions. I would give yourself a challenge to get your first landing page ad up and running in the next 2 weeks. And even then, I think you could do it in 2 days. Where I'm going to tell you you're going to run into issues is creating your value stack, right? And one of the things, and what I mean by that is you're probably going to need to create a lot of collateral to get like checklists and PDFs and all that kind of stuff, right? Once again, Vince and Jem can help you out with that, right? So if you don't have it off the shelf or if you need help, let us know. But the whole point of this is to help you guys start, being able to fish for yourselves, create your own leads in addition to what you're doing with your database. So just let me know how we can be helpful.
Cool,
guys. We'll see you in about an hour. So we'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. Thanks, Jared.